Hi everyone, today we're going to be interviewing Doug Schoon, world-renowned polymer chemist. He has a lot of books related to nail science and it's amazing all his work. He's one of the best. He's one of the ones leading the industry and we are so grateful that you're here with us doing this interview. Thank you so much for your time. And to begin with, I want to ask you um, more about yourself, if you can introduce yourself for the people that doesn't really know you, and also how did you become involved with the nail industry?
Well, thank you for having me. I really appreciate the opportunity to speak with your viewers.
Hmm.
I became involved in the nail industry almost 30 years ago. I was teaching chemistry at a local college and working at another company, helping them develop some safety protocols. And the woman I worked for at the college, daughter was a cosmetologist. I'm no fool. I went to her to have my haircut. And they knew I was a chemist. So they would ask me questions all the time about chemistry, this ingredient, that ingredient. And I started realizing, wow, they really don't have a lot of information.
Hmm.
So I started a company called Chemical Awareness Training Service back in the late 1980s. And it was really the first safety program or company in the entire beauty industry. And I did that for a couple of years. And then I realized that I'm not very effective because I'm on the outside of the industry. I need to be inside of the industry and understand the industry more so I can be more effective. So I started working with a local company, C&D, who ran their laboratories for 20 years and learned a lot about nails and nail products and nail technicians. And through all of that, I realized really I have an opportunity here to do more education. So I left C&D and started my own company and started doing research in nails and in hair. I do hair and lashes.
Oh,
Primarily, nails are my main focus. So I started in research and education and writing. And the more I did, the more I loved it, the more involved I got. And Facebook kept me going for many years, spreading information. So that's kind of what's brought me up here to today. My love for the industry and my great interest in making sure that nail technicians have proper information. I think with the proper information, they can do much better jobs, protect themselves and their clients, and have safe and healthy careers. So that's why I spend so much time doing that.
nice, nice. We're very happy to have somebody that cares so much for the people and for the safety. It's very great to have you. Well, I have a lot of questions that I brought over here, so I'm gonna read them out for you. So the first one is, why is it so important for a brand to test their lamp for curing performance and compatibility with their products?
Well, we sure want to have products that perform well
Mhm.
and last long. All of that look beautiful. We like all that. All that testing is done, but the testing that needs to be done is to ensure the products properly cure. Um, and the reason for that is because when products are properly cured, they're very unlikely to cause adverse skin reactions, such as irritations or allergies. But when they're improperly cured, they become much more likely to do that. So obviously, the industry doesn't want to have any clients to have allergic reactions. So one of the key things we need to do is ensure that we're properly curing our products and making sure that they're tested to ensure they're properly curing. So that's really what I spend a lot of time and focus on talking about these issues, both to manufacturers, brand owners, and to nail technicians and educators. Everyone needs to be aware of this issue because it's very important. It's easy to avoid allergic reactions if you know how, but if you don't
Yeah.
know how, then you become prey to them.
Yeah, that's the thing. Lately, everyone is very concerned about safety and everything. So they really want to learn about these things. Okay, the second question is, why is lamp wattage a bad way to judge curing performance? What should people look for instead?
Yeah. Means nothing. Wattage is actually
Mhm.
trickery. This is how manufacturers of lamps trick nail technicians into purchasing the wrong lamp. They say, well, that lamp's 40 watts and ours is 40 watts, so it's the same lamp.
Yeah,
That's like saying this car goes 20 kilometers per liter and that car goes 20 kilometers per liter. It's the same car,
yeah.
not the same car. And that's a good analogy because wattage is only how much power or how much electricity your lamp uses. It has nothing to do with how much UV is emitted. So again, never buy a lamp because of its wattage. That's just trickery and use the fool nail technician into buying the wrong lamp.
Okay, yeah. Okay, next question will be, um, why is curing science still so widely misunderstood in the nail industry, even among manufacturers and other chemists?
Well, with true manufacturers, the people actually make the product, and with chemists, it's not misunderstood.
Mm,
They understand the things I'm saying, and they don't disagree with me. You don't see other chemists coming online saying Doug Schoon is wrong. They know what I'm saying is correct, and I talk to them often. I know many of them. I talk to them all the time, and many of them give me feedback that I incorporate into my books. I
mm,
work with several different chemists to gather information, because nobody knows everything. So it's not true that manufacturers who make the products and the chemists don't understand the chemistry. They sure do. Who
mm.
doesn't understand the chemistry are educators. Educators are the most important people because they're the ones
Yeah.
who spread this information around the world. So if educators don't understand it, we have a real problem. And unfortunately, many manufacturers don't take the time to properly teach educators. And many brand owners, they just want to teach features and benefits. Oh, here's how our product is good. But that's
Mm,
not understanding chemistry. So no one's really taken the time to teach the science and technology to nail technicians through educators. So that's what I do. I don't try to teach every nail technician. I try to teach every nail educator because the nail
mm.
educators are the ones who spread the word and get the information out. They're the ones who have students that trust them and believe in them. They're the mentors of the industry. So everyone should be focused on making sure nail educators have the proper information. That helps the entire industry.
Yeah, it's sad that they don't teach them nothing about this in school, and they don't teach them nothing about lamp compatibility or like anything. They don't know
Well,
really
they don't
much
know.
about that. It will be great if it will be like more regulated and like they had to like teach a little bit of that, at least the basics. But
Well, I don't know. I don't think any educator wants to teach the wrong information. They all
no, of
want to
course
teach right.
no. They teach what they know.
They just don't have it. So
Yeah.
that's the key. And a regulation isn't going to change what they know. What's going to change what they know is someone sitting down and telling them and teaching them and answering their questions, which is why I do this. And I'm not the only scientist that does this. There are other scientists in the industry that also do this. I'm just probably the most vocal and most visible.
Yeah.
That's really where we need to put our effort is into teaching the teachers. They're the key to all the problems we have.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree with you. Okay, next questions is how should we think about hard versus fully cured and what can look cured but still be risky?
Well, one of the problems with UV gels is they're unlike other kinds of nail coatings. UV gels, in fact, all nail coatings do this. They all will harden when they reach a 50% cure stage. So
Okay.
once they're half cured, they turn hard and solid. But they're not properly cured. I don't use the word completely cured or fully cured. I use the word properly cured because the gel is designed by scientists who expect it to be cured to a certain level and to make it safe. And if it's not cured to that level, well, then adverse reactions can happen. So that's really the goal, is to properly cure your products to safe levels so that they perform properly, of course, and they're safe for you and your clients.
Yeah, and the only way to know that it's by having it scientifically tested, right?
Well, if it's scientifically tested, and it should be, all gels should be tested to ensure they are properly curing. And then the manufacturer should be providing instructions to the nail technicians on how to achieve that proper cure. If the nail technician doesn't do that, they do their own thing, well, that's on them. But
Mm.
many manufacturers don't even bother telling nail technicians what they should do to get a proper cure. They say, oh, you can cure it any way you want. That means I don't really care. Do what you want.
Yeah,
Go away.
yeah, pretty much they just want
Honey,
to like sell it and not
just give
give
me
the
your
right
money.
information.
Do what you want. That's
Yeah.
that's not responsible. A responsible manufacturer teaches, and brand owners, they teach their users how to use the product properly and safely, which includes, of course, proper cure.
Yes. Okay. Well, next question is what should scientifically or compatibility tests mean for an LGL brand so it's not just marketing?
Well, the manufacturers who manufacture these gels should be, and many do, testing their gels with different lamps and seeing what type of lamp is needed to properly cure the gel. Well, let's talk about what properly curing a gel is. A gel needs three things to properly cure. It needs the right wavelengths, which people call nanometers. That's not really the right word.
Okay.
Wavelengths. The right wavelengths, it needs the right intensity of those wavelengths. It can't be dim, it can't be too bright. It has to be
Mm.
proper for the gel, and it needs to be cured for the proper time so the gel can absorb that UV light and cause the polymerization reactions to occur. So without those three things, the gel isn't going to properly cure. So this is what scientific testing should do. It should say, you need this wavelength, this intensity, and this time to properly cure your gels. And then the brand owners should find lamps or make lamps, either way, that achieve these goals, ensure their products are properly cured. And then, of course, the brand owner should be telling nail technicians, this is the lamp or lamps that we have tested
Mm.
and proven by scientific testing that will properly cure our gels if you use them for the right amount of time that we've specified. So those are the directions that manufacturers should, a responsible manufacturer should be providing to their technicians, so their technicians can be assured that they're using the products in the appropriate fashion. This is what scientific testing is. I think when people say compatibility testing, they're saying, well, the gel and the lamp are compatible. They need to be. You can overcure or you can undercure a UV gel. Because there's three kinds of cures: overcure,
Mhm.
undercure, and proper cure. Well, we want proper cure, and you won't get that accidentally. You get that by using the right lamp at the right for the right time with the right thickness of gel, not putting it on too
Yeah.
thick, doing everything following the instructions that the distributor should be providing, or the brand owner, I should say, should be providing to teach people how to avoid these problems of undercuring and ensure the products are properly cured.
Okay. Yeah. Very good information about everything. Okay. Oh, a lot of people asked me for this one. They were saying, "What's your opinion on the new AI lamps that they claim that they can fully cure any gel across all brands and all formulas?" Because they're saying that like the AI is going to learn with the time and like cure your gels better.
Yeah, not a prayer. That's nonsense. This is just a new name for a universal lamp. I
Yeah.
spent years telling people there's no such thing as a universal lamp. There's no such thing as a universal lamp. And this putting AI in front of it is just a marketing ploy. I'll tell you this, my opinion, never buy a lamp from a company who doesn't sell a gel to go with it. There's
Mm.
a lot of lamp companies just piling on top of the nail industry, trying to get as much money from nail technicians as they can, selling lamps that they don't know are compatible. There's no way you can make a lamp that cures every kind of gel. There's too many kinds of gels. So all they do is harden, not properly cure. So never buy a lamp from a company that doesn't sell a gel, and and choose your lamp based on the gel company's recommendation. They should say, this is the one we believe in. And again, they don't have to make that lamp. They just have to test that lamp and say, this is the lamp that's the ones that's going to ensure the best success for you and the best safety for you. And if a company doesn't do that, find a company who will.
Yeah.
Responsible companies will do this testing. They'll spend the money, they'll do this testing because it is expensive, and they'll do this because they want you to be safe and they want you to be happy and they want you to come back as repeat customers. They're not just trying to sell you something, they're really invested in your future and your education, which is another way you can spot a good company. They invest in your education, they teach you
Yeah.
things. They don't tell you just do whatever you want and leave me alone.
Yeah.
They teach you how to be safe and effective and do better. And everyone needs that kind of information. So that's how you can tell who the good companies are versus the companies who just want your money.
Yeah, that's the problem that a lot of people likes a lot of brands, but they don't really tell you much information. They just, like you say, they just want to sell you stuff, which
But
is,
if you think about it, it's their responsibility to
yeah,
provide you with
of course, yeah.
they
But
are required by regulations and by rules and laws to tell people how to safely use products. Yet some manufacturers, brand owners, I should say, don't even put instructions on their products. That's foolish and silly, and I don't recommend you to deal with companies that don't provide you with proper information.
yeah, I agree. Okay, this one is, what's your perspective on brands claiming that their products are organic or non-toxic when those terms aren't clearly defined or supported by certification or scientific evidence?
Well, first off, I'll tell you, it's easy to know which products are organic. None. None of those nail coatings are organic. That's nonsensical. Organic means when we say organic, we're inferring organic certified or registered, certified organic by an agency like EcoCert or USDA, someone who's actually gone in and said, yep, this is organic. If the brand owner themselves just puts organic on it, that's just misleading nonsense. I called one of these dip manufacturers one time that claimed that he had organic dip products. And I said, man, don't you know that there are regulations that require you to meet these certain specifications before you can say you're organic? And he said, oh, no, no, no. I don't mean organic in the legal way. I mean organic in the spiritual way.
Espiritu.
What?
What?
That's just called deception. That's
Yeah.
trick. There's no nail product that's organic. If they call themselves organic, they're just trying to trick you.
Yeah, or they say that it's non-toxic, or like they make certain wording to make it look like it's healthier, but no product is healthy if you're touching it or anything. Like they make it look like, oh, it's okay to touch, or like nothing happens, you're safe, you're not gonna get allergies because our products are non-toxic and all these things.
Well, let's talk about non-toxic. What does that mean? Well, what's non-toxic? You can drink enough water that you'll die. So
Yeah.
water is toxic if you drink too much of it. There's no products that are non-toxic. There are many that are practically non-toxic. Nail oil is practically non-toxic, but if you drink enough nail oil, it would harm you.
Yeah, yeah,
So
of course.
right? So ignore that word. Those are just trickery terms that are trying to fool you into buying a product. Never buy a product because it's organic. Never buy a product because it's non-toxic. Those are just silly marketing words. Another one is chemical free. Huh,
Chemical, what do you mean? Like it's
everything is a chemical. Water is a chemical. Air is a
yeah.
chemical. So how can something be chemical free? These are trickery words that people think they know what they mean, and the brand owners or the distributors, manufacturers, whoever's doing it, they know that people misunderstand those words. So they're taking advantage of the fact they don't properly understand the words. Never buy a product because of these silly claims.
Yes, yes. It's very hard, especially for people that's just now starting into nails, like that they don't really know much about this. It's very like misleading, and then they end up with all these allergies. And I think that that's not really helping, to tell people organic, non-toxic, all that stuff.
Trickery.
Yeah, tricky. Okay, next question that I get asked a lot as well is there any standard minimum percentage of photo initiators in UV and LED gel formulas?
Well, photo initiators are extraordinarily expensive. They're the most expensive part of the UV gel system, typically.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but they're not needed in high concentration. So using the least amount is usually the best for the manufacturers. They can keep costs down. But you need enough in there to properly cure the product. And that's going to depend on the chemistry of the product and the type of photo initiator. It's very complicated, believe me. The scientists who work in this field really have to know a lot because there's so many moving parts and things that are all linked together like a puzzle. So there is no minimum concentration or maximum concentration of a photo initiator. I can tell you a typical range. Typically, they're only 1% to 2%, maybe 3% of a product. In an extreme case, they might get up to 4 or 5%, but that would be
Okay.
like heavily colored gel that's hard to cure. But typically, you're seeing 2 to 3% of a photo initiator. And there are many different kinds. There are 5 or 6 different kinds of photo initiators used in our industry. So this really helps people understand that gel formulas aren't all the same. That's like saying all cakes are the same. What?
Yeah.
A chocolate cake and a apple pie, a raisin cake, these are all different. All gels are different. They have different formulations in them. They cure differently. This is why there's no universal lamp that will cure all gels.
Mm,
They have to be tuned to work with each other. And I'll
right.
add this, every gel is a separate formula. The top coat's a different formula than the base coat. Every
Yeah.
color is a different formula. So manufacturers have quite a job ensuring that their products are properly curing with these lamps. And brand owners should be listening to the manufacturers and asking them these questions, saying,
Yeah.
what are you doing to ensure my products are properly curing? Because I'm selling these to nail technicians. I want to make sure my lamps are safe and the gels are safe and properly curing. And a true manufacturer should be providing this information to the brand owners. Unfortunately, many do, most don't.
Yeah, that's the problem that most of them just test, and as long as they feel hard, that's all they really care. They're like, okay, they got hard, and that's fine.
Well, that's
Just
because that's
sell
what
it to
nail
everyone.
and brand owners expect. That's why I go to the educators and say, expect more. Don't
Yeah.
expect just to harden. Expect and demand more. You're paying good money for these products. You should
Mhm.
demand more testing. You should demand proof that these products are properly curing. Like, for instance, the AI lamp. It's easy to say it cures all gels. Where's the proof? Hey, keep that
Exactly.
shut unless you've got proof. And that's what. And when we see the proof, well, then we'll believe. But nail technicians don't ask for proof. They just
Hmm.
hear, oh, no, ask more questions. Never be satisfied with the first answer you get. Ask why. Ask them, well, how do you know this is true? Where does your information come from? Dig deeper. Don't let them just tell you some silly little answer and move on.
Hmm.
Dig deeper until you get to the truth.
Yes, that's very important because most people don't really ask questions, and when only 1% is asking questions, then it's very easy to just get away with anything.
That is so true. And this is why in my new book, I dedicated an entire chapter on just how to do research and ask questions. Because I know most nail technicians are put off by questions. They don't know how to ask them. They don't want to ask them. And if they ask a question, many times the brand owner, the distributor, just make them feel foolish. Oh, they'll just say something to make them feel like they're foolish.
Yeah.
Well, in that book, in that chapter, I teach nail technicians how to get around this, how to really do some real research, and how to know when they're being BS'd. Because unfortunately, a lot of people out there aren't telling the truth and not telling the facts. And nail technicians need to understand how they can get the correct information.
Yes, they need to start demanding brands to do it because if we demand and if we don't buy until they show proof or care about it, then that's when they're gonna start caring, because as long
That's,
as people keeps buying without demanding anything, they're not gonna change anything
they're
because
not going to change
it's less
anything.
profit for them.
Why change? If the money's rolling to the bank, why change? Nail technicians start having demanding more information and asking why. How do you know that? Dig down.
Yeah. Okay, this is interesting. If someone is allergic to a monomer like HPMA, but the gel product has been tested with a lamp and cures in the safe range, will you say to that person that they can get away using that product with a compatible lamp even though they're allergic to that product?
Well, that's a hard question to answer
Yeah.
because many people think they're allergic to something and they're not.
Mm.
I
Mm.
had one lady tell me she had a client who was allergic to water. No one is allergic
What?
to water. No one is.
Okay.
It just gives you an example. A lot of people, they see things and they think that's an allergy. Many times dry skin, it's not an allergy, or itching is not an allergy. It could just be an irritation. And
No, but I've seen people that they go get tested with doctors to see
yeah,
what they're allergic to.
yeah, and irritation is an early warning sign for an allergy.
Mm-hmm.
Irritations can turn into allergies if you ignore them. So you may just have a simple irritation. But to your point, if someone's gone to a dermatologist and they've been tested and shown to be allergic to a certain monomer, they should avoid that monomer. It doesn't matter if it's properly cured, because
Mm.
many things that cause allergies are called sensitizers. They make you more and more sensitive every time you're exposed to them until you
Mm.
become sensitive to even tiny, tiny, tiny amounts. So this is why it's so important not to become allergic in the first dang place.
Yes, yes.
Now you got to deal with that. So don't go there. And a lot of people tell me, well, I've been using this product for 10 years and I've not had a problem yet. Well, nobody has a
Yet.
problem until they do.
Yeah.
Just because you go 10 years without an allergy, that just means your body put up with your bad acting for 10 years and now it's tired of it. And now you can have an allergy that won't go away. So don't think that because you've done this for all these years and not had a problem, that the problem isn't just right around the corner. And once you become allergic to these products, it's usually for life. Usually you will not get away with or get away from it. Sometimes symptoms can subside and go away, but when they go and expose themselves to that product again, their allergy symptoms will come right back. So it's something you want to avoid. And a lot of people are no longer nail technicians because they became too allergic to the products they
Allergic to.
were using and they had to get out of the profession. Don't let that happen to you.
Mm. Yeah, and another thing I've seen is that they have problems after when they need dental procedures or like I think if with a knee surgery that like then because they're allergic to all these things, then they cannot get cavities fixed, things like that because they're allergic.
Well, people say that, but I've never talked to a doctor who's told me they weren't able to do a knee surgery or a dental procedure because the client was too allergic to their other products. That is a concern, but I don't
Yeah.
think I would call it a big problem. The bigger
Mm.
problem is that you got to get out of your profession. You spend all your time
Yeah. Yeah. After
or
all these years.
in red all the time, and they look like lobster claws. That's the bigger problem. That's what you really want to avoid. Don't be worried you might not be able to have knee surgery. Be worried about what your hands are going to look like.
No, I've seen some bad reactions. It can get really, really bad, especially if
Yeah.
people keeps pushing themselves, like keep doing it and keep doing it. It's better to just
It'll just get worse and worse with more exposure until
yeah,
you can't handle it anymore. Don't
yeah.
go down that road. It's not a fun road.
Yeah, yeah, I totally agree with you. Okay, this is because I have a lot of friends and they have like small businesses and they have been in contact with me that they would like to test their gels, but they don't have the budget to test their products. What will you say to these people?
If you don't have the budget to ensure your products are safe, you shouldn't be selling the products. It's simple as that. You have a responsibility to your users to ensure you're selling them things that are safe and going to work properly. So if you don't have a budget for doing that, you should go find something else to do. There's too many products already being sold in the industry already by people who don't know what they're doing. We don't need more of that. We
Yeah.
need people who are professional, who really spend the time, take the effort, and spend the money to ensure that their users are properly educated and their users are working safely and their products are properly tested. That's the minimum bar for entry in the nail industry. If you can't get above that, get out of the nail industry, please. You'll be doing everybody a favor.
Yeah, well, the thing is that it's so easy to just white label products and like sell it, and people just think there's no responsibility with it. And I guess that's the problem more than anything, how easy it is and how everybody will just, try to start something without even knowing the proper information themselves.
Well, they are responsible. There are rules and regulations. In the United States, it's worse because we are probably the most lawsuit happy country in the world.
Yeah,
People get sued a lot. Nail salons get sued a lot. I do a
I've
lot of
seen, I've seen.
nail salons get sued a lot. I don't know how much in Europe because I don't work in Europe, but in the United States, I know it happens. So salons, you should be very careful, making sure you understand what you're doing. Because salons also have responsibilities to ensure their nail technicians are working safely and correctly. And because their clients become injured, the salon owner is likely liable. So this is something that a lot of people think is, oh, easy. We don't have to worry about all that. The day is coming when you will wish you hadn't had that attitude. It is your responsibility to ensure your products are properly tested and are safe.
Yes.
And you have that in writing. That's something you just don't hear on the phone. You have to have that in writing in your files, especially if you're selling in Europe. The European
Oh, yeah,
Union,
Europe is another level. It's
they
very,
require you have all your safety information before you make any claims. In the United States, it's not the same. People make all kinds of crazy claims and get the information later when they're sued. But anyway, it's better just to be proper and safe and do things right.
yeah.
That's the best way to do business, and I think all people in this business should be doing that.
Yes. Okay, now we have the three questions by the nail community. This is what they wanted me to ask you. I chose three. They ask a lot of things, but I chose the three that I thought were the most
We'll come
interesting
back
ones.
later and do more.
Yes, yes, for sure. I'm sure they will love that. Um, so this question is by Nail Crafting. She say it's a wire plug-in UV LED lamp more consistent for curing than a wireless battery one, and why?
Absolutely. Is a lamp you plug in the wall more consistent than a flashlight?
Yeah, good.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of the battery devices.
Hmm.
As the battery runs down, the intensity, the power to the LEDs drops, and the LEDs put out less UV light. Which, by the way, I'll say all nail lamps create UV. There's no UV-free nail lamps. LED
Mm.
light bulb that creates UV. I have an LED TV, and I can hold my nails in front of it all
Yeah,
day.
they're not gonna cure.
They're
Yeah.
not hardened. So this nonsense that LED is not UV is silliness, and that's something that's also spread by some disingenuous brand owners who are trying to trick their users. Nail technicians need to understand all this information, and that's the best way to stop these silly misconceptions.
Yes, 100%. Um, okay, this question is from Diablo Nails, and she's asking, how do photo initiators influence undercuring?
How they influence what?
How do photo initiators influence undercuring?
Well, if you have too little photo initiator, you're
Mm.
not going to have well, the photo initiator, let's talk about what that is. It's like a small little molecule that when it sees the right wavelength of UV, depending on what photo initiator, it sees the right wavelength, it absorbs it and it turns it into energy and it puts that energy into the molecules and causes them to link together to create these long polymer chains that we call the artificial nail. So the photo initiator is the key to everything. It's like the key to a car. It starts the whole process. So having too little photo initiator, you don't get enough polymerization. Having too much photo initiator, you can get too rapid a polymerization and the product gets very, very hot and burns the client's nails. So it's important to have a right window of the right amount of photoinitiator, just like the right lamp. The lamp
Yeah.
can't have too much UV or too little UV. Too little UV, you get undercuring. Too much UV, you get overcuring, you get heat, you get surface breakdown. In fact, even
Mm.
worse. If you use too much UV on some color gels, it just cures the top surface, and the top surface then becomes like a shell that blocks UV from getting deeper. So
Mm.
it's really important to properly cure. The most difficult gels to properly cure are blacks, reds, and browns, especially if they're very dense because they reflect and absorb UV and don't let it get into the gel. Those color gels should all be cured for 2 minutes. I would, and
Okay. Yeah.
thin layers for 2 minutes to ensure that you're properly curing. But be very careful with black, reds, and browns. They're the most difficult of all gels to properly cure.
Yes. Yes. Definitely. Especially when they're pigmented, it's like very complicated to.
You'll
But
hear
like
people
that's
say,
what the
oh, this
testing
is
is
really a
for.
dense gel. It's got lots of pigment in it. Well, that's not a good thing.
Yeah.
That means it's going to be harder to cure. The secret is thinner layers. If you do
Yeah.
thin layers, it's going to cure well. One thick layer, I guarantee you a black
It's
gel.
not gonna cure. It's gonna wrinkle. It's not gonna be good. Okay. Next question is by Thais Harajuku and class by Kelly. Is it true that it's better and safer to use brands that have tested their products scientifically with their products so they are compatible?
Well, I think it's absolutely true that they are better if you use a product that's been tested. In fact, I would tell you never use a product that has not been scientifically
Hmm.
tested. But they should be. And it's not the brand owner's job to do this. It's the brand owner's job to insist that the manufacturer who sells them does this testing and provides them with those results. If you're a brand owner and you're buying from a company that manufactures the gel and you put your name on it, that company should be telling you exactly how to use it safely, exactly what lamps should be used, what wavelengths, intensities, and times are needed to properly cure it. If you don't get that information from your manufacturer, you should demand that manufacturer provide you with this information. It's important and it's critical to ensure safety. So don't accept the product from a company that won't provide you with this information.
Yes. Okay, now from nail crafting, it's widely claimed that acid polymers chemically etch the nail, but how exactly do acid-free primers bond to the natural keratin? Is the connection a solid chemical lock, or is it a weaker bond? Most importantly, which one is less likely to break down when a client has their hands in water a lot?
One of the oldest myths in the nail industry is that methacrylic acid primers etch the nail. Well, the reason for that comes from dental. Methacrylic acid used to be used on teeth to improve
Mm.
adhesion teeth, and they do indeed etch the teeth. But the teeth are very different than your nails.
Yeah.
They're not chemically similar at all. It's a myth that these acids etch the nail. You can prove this to yourself. Take a small clipping and put it in a bottle of pure 100% methacrylic acid, and I guarantee you in 5 years it'll still be there. It'll never
Yeah.
dissolve. It'll never be damaged because these things don't damage keratin. Keratin is very resistant to acids. There are acids, of course, that would dissolve it, but not acids used in the nail industry. And just because something's an acid doesn't mean it's dangerous. Saliva
Mm.
is acid, right?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
acidic pH. Vinegar is acid. So
Yeah.
just because something's an acid doesn't make it bad or good. Something's not going to adhere just because it's an acid. So I wouldn't be worried about using acid primers, except for keeping them off the skin and out of your eyes. They're corrosive and they'll burn
Yeah.
your
Yeah. Of course.
and they'll damage your eyes. So less is best if you're using these very, very thin layers. Never apply it on a broken nail where it could seep through to the nail bed.
Oh,
You
yeah.
product, if the nail isn't broken, nothing will go through the nail. So we should only be working on intact nails that aren't broken. Now, the acid-free primers, some of them, strangely enough, have acid pHs. It's kind of crazy if an acid-free primer has an acid pH. Well, the reason is they're really saying we don't have methacrylic acid in it. Acidic primers, things that have an acidic pH tend to improve adhesion. So most of them, many of them have acid pH, but not all do. And by the way, I'll throw in something else.
Mhm.
Gels have no pH, none. Only
Okay.
water has pH. So
Mhm.
if there's no water in it, then the product has no pH. So pHs are very misunderstood in this industry, and many
Yeah.
people or using it to say you can decide which gel or product is better based on its pH. That's laughable. Don't even listen to these people. They need to talk to me or get some more information about pH because gels do not have pH.
Yes, very good information as always. Well, these are all the questions. We are very grateful that you gave us your time as always, and we're so happy that we have been working with you, testing our products with our lamp. I really wanted to like make sure that what I was selling was safe because I really got into all of these, and I'm just thankful that you are here to help all of the nail techs and like trying to help us learn better things, more things, and be more like aware of how things really are.
Sure.
And for anyone who's watching, I recommend you guys to get his book. You can buy this on Amazon, the physical copy, or I think you also have it on Kindle.
It's what?
You have your book available
On Kindle, yes.
on Kindle,
And it's
and you
coming in
can.
other languages too. It'll be coming in French soon. In fact, French is almost done. Spanish is done and just hasn't been published yet. But there's probably about 10 different languages it'll be translated into because I want to get this information all around the world.
Yes, that's very great. He also has other books that are like written like question and answer, so like they're very easy to read. And yeah, that will be it. Thank you very much for
I'll tell
everything.
people something about that book. So you see how thick that book is. You don't
Oh
have
yeah.
to read the book. Don't think, oh, I got to read this. You can just look up what you want to know. If you want to know about gel lamps, there's a whole chapter on gel lamps. There's a whole chapter on gels. Like I said, a whole chapter on answering questions. There's chapters on natural nail. So you can use it as a reference book. Don't be put off by the fact, well, that's a pretty big book.
Yeah,
It's,
it's a lot of information.
it's
I
filled
guess.
with lots of important information.
Yeah, I guess they can read it a little bit at a time, but everything is super important for everyone who wants to be more informed. And yes, I think that will be it.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate working with you guys as well. I wish more manufacturers were interested in having their products properly tested. I'm starting to get more and more people contacting me about this, and I think other people are also other chemists are also hearing that as well. So it's good to see the industry is starting to wake up and pay more attention to ensuring the products are safe and being used properly.
No, just definitely a lot of people is having more interest in getting to know about this, and they're like a lot of people show me that they got your book, so I'm really happy. They really want to learn more. The nail techs and the other brand owners that have been reaching out to me because they're interested in what you're doing. And
Well, the more you know, the better off you're going to be. So there's
yeah.
no knowledge. You're not going to waste your time learning about the nail. You think about it, sculptors, they learn all about stone and wood because they're sculpting and
Yeah.
and painters learn all about canvas and things they paint on. Well, nail technicians need to learn about their tools and their media as well, which is the natural nail. So I encourage everyone who's watching this to please dig into this, find out more. You'll be amazed at how much there is to know, and you'll be even more amazed at how much it will help your career.
Yes, definitely. Well, I hope we can do this another time as well. I'm sure people will have even more questions. And thank you so much for your time again.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Have a good day.
Yeah, bye bye.